If you love the GameSir X2 series of Bluetooth controllers, then I think you will also very likely love what they sent over for today's video. Well, at least I did, and I wasn't paid to say this. You see, having spent a great deal of time with GameSir previous iterations of their detachable mobile gaming controllers, I find myself really liking the comfort offered by the new design and the adaptation of the X4 Aileron. And not only that, I'm also glad that GameSir has managed to carry over a couple of my favorite features from their other controllers to this one. So, consider hitting that subscribe button if you're new to this channel to stay updated, and let's see in today's video if GameSir's latest $100 Xbox licensed Bluetooth controller is a worthy successor to the popular X2 Bluetooth controller that you can get for half the price. The X4 Aileron comes packaged within a carrying case, which is always a nice value addition. Inside, you'll find an additional 2 sets of changeable analog sticks with different cap styles and size, and another style D-pad. There's also a rather short USB A to C cable for charging the controller, 2 pairs of extra rubber cushions if your phone doesn't fit securely, and the usual manual and stickers with a code to redeem a free month of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. The X4 Aileron itself is made mostly from plastic, with the back of the grip area textured with this rubber-like material. I personally prefer this over textured plastic as it increases the grip comfort and stability during extended gaming sessions, but there is the risk of it becoming sticky, or not. The controller itself is held together by magnets and can easily be pulled apart and put together. When collapsed, both sides can be charged at the same time, and it only takes up a small amount of space, making it easy to put in pockets and bring around. I personally find this new design adaptation a big improvement in terms of portability over the previous X2 and X3 controllers. And also, to my surprise, the whole unit feels more sturdy than I expected when the phone is inserted. During the past week of gaming, not once did my ROG phone slip out of the controller. It was able to remain in there securely even when I'm frantically mashing buttons. And to add to that, if your phone case is not too thick, you also don't need to remove it. But if your phone and case together is thicker than 12.5mm or has a protruding camera like my iPhone, then it will be another story. There's also no power switch to turn on the controller, so you just slide in the phone and the X4A will turn on. You can also force power them on if you want to use them like Nintendo Joy-Cons. And if you would like to just play with only using one side like a Joy-Con, you can also do so like this. As for the number of buttons on the X4A, there are a total of 18 usable buttons with 2 on the back that are remappable. The A, B, X, Y, and D-pad uses micro switches, and can do this little neat trick. Pretty cool, right? The shoulder buttons also uses micro switches, while the trigger buttons uses Hall effect sensing and can be toggled between linear input or hair trigger. Though I could only get the linear input mode to work when connected to a mobile phone, as I still can't figure out how to make it work when paired directly to a PC. For the analog sticks, the X4A uses Hall effect sticks, which is now becoming the norm for many third-party controllers. The stick travel distance here is a bit smaller than on a regular controller, but GameSir added this material here at the base of the sticks, which reduces the friction of the sticks rubbing against the corners. It's a really smooth experience, probably the smoothest analog sticks I've ever used. There's also the option to set and tune the amount of dead zone to your liking via GameSir app over your phone, and the setting gets saved onto the onboard profile of the controller, so there's no need to set it every single time you want to play. As for my thoughts and opinions on the GameSir X4A controller, I find that compared to the previous X2 and X3 controllers, the new form factor, the support for most thin phone cases, Hall effect analog sticks, and linear trigger buttons are the biggest improvement for me. The trigger buttons are the same as the ones that you will find on the X2 Pro, so they are not exactly new, but coming from a streaming or cloud gaming perspective, it is good to have this feature for games that make use of linear triggers when you need it. As for this form factor, I find it a lot more comfortable to hold and play without my large hands cramping during extended gaming sessions, but the comfort level still cannot match the G8 Galileo. The G8 Galileo is still by far the most comfortable snap-on controller from GameSir that I've tried and loved. So if portability is not a key decision factor, then I would say go for the G8 Galileo. And if you're concerned about the battery life and Bluetooth latency from being wireless, I would say that both were not an issue, at least for me. With a 400 mAh battery on each side, the X4 Aileron lasted me approximately of 16 hours of total gaming time, and it's always my phone that ran out of battery first. As for the latency, it was not noticeable for me. I tested it with my favorite rhythm game that I always turn to, and the results I got were almost identical to when using wired controllers. But then again, wired and 2.4 GHz wireless connection will always have lower latency than a Bluetooth connection. So if latency is really a concern, you could pick up one of GameSir's wired models. So overall, if you're looking for a quality third-party controller that is both comfortable to use and easy to bring around, then GameSir's X4 Aileron is a great choice to consider. Like GameSir's other Snap-on controllers, the X4A will work with apps and games that officially support controllers and those that don't via its G-Touch mode. As for what I think could be improved, it would be making this controller also work with more devices such as iPhones and PC. Even though the controller is licensed by Xbox, it doesn't work with my PC and laptop wirelessly without going through Steam controller settings. But knowing GameSir, they probably will release another non-Xbox version somewhere down the line. Alright, hope you guys find today's video helpful, and thank you as always for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, consider hitting that like button. It will help me and help this channel a lot more than you know it. And I'll see you again in the next video. Ciao! If you like to play with just one side, like the Joy-Cons, what? Oh shit.